Hey guys, it's Throwback Thursday, and we've got a good one. This is from Ben and my wheelhouse of basketball, the early to mid '80s. Dominique Bird. Dominique just came out with some great quotes on what happened in his early days trying to guard Mr. Larry Bird, and we've got some quotes for you.
Yeah, so this is a game from April of 1983, and Wilkins is a rookie. This was a story first appeared in the Boston Herald. We found it on USA Today. So Neek says, one of the first times I ever played against Bird, I went out for the opening tip. I went to shake his hand, and Bird just stood there and looked at me stone-faced with his hands behind his back. So that's already
so far
great.
So good.
Right.
I like this.
Bird's been in the league. I guess this is probably his fourth year, and he's having none of this from the rookie who wants to shake his hand.
Yeah.
Neek goes on. I was like, whoa. Then we're getting ready for the tip, and he says to me, "You don't belong in this league, Holmes." By the way, I miss Holmes as a thing people say.
Not Larry Holmes.
Not Larry. You don't belong in this league, Holmes. I couldn't believe it, but it happened so fast, I didn't know what to think. Neek continues. Then they had the ball, and I was on Bird, and Bird says, "I don't know why they got you guarding me, Holmes. You can't guard me." And then whap, he hit a three. Then he came down again and said, "They made a mistake putting you on me, Holmes," and he took another three. Just for a brief moment, imagine Larry Bird saying Holmes in 1983. It's pretty great. All right, let's continue. Good. So now I'm hot, says Bird. I mean, I'm hot. I'm steaming. Then a little while later, Neek says, I come back down on a break, and he was backpedaling, and I just went right after him. I jumped up, and he tried to challenge, but I took that right through the rim. He fell, and he hit the basket support.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Drama's building.
That's right. He got up and said, "I like you, rookie," abandoning Holmes. "I like you, rookie. You've got guts." I was happy for a second, and then he said, "But I'm still going for 40 on you tonight." And then the big finish. Then he paused. Neek does. This is the Boston Herald. Then Neek paused the story, stepped back and smiled. "But I got him," Wilkins said. He only scored 39. And we checked. We found it. April 5th, 1983. Bird, 18 of 22 from the field.
That's bonkers. I mean, look at those guys. It's just a beautiful moment in time, those years.
Look how much leg of Bird we get.
That's a lot of upper thigh, a lot of white upper thigh.
A lot
of
upper thigh there.
I mean, I love this. One of the things that I really, that bothers me about the league now is how friendly everybody is. These guys are friends. They want to play with their friends. They want to join their best buddy and the third guy now, and then bring in, their third buddy from the other team to shoot threes while they do it.
Yeah, it's just you're right. It's the way it is. It's the way it is in football too. I was watching closely on, I guess Tuesday night this week, maybe Wednesday. Wizards Raptors in Toronto. The Wizards don't have Bradley Beal, so it's going to be a tough game no matter what. But they're in it. And they come back and they really play great D on like 4 or 5 possessions. DeRozan hits a ball's been knocked around. It just falls to him. Shot clock running down. He hits a tough 14-footer. Puts the Raptors up 95-93, like 12 seconds to play. So the Wizards come down again without Beal. John Wall, they're trying to get it to Butler. They can't. And Wall shoots a contested, but he had a look, 3 with about a second left to win the game. It's off the back iron. It's out. That's it. They don't play again for 10 days because of the All-Star break. I want him to be, he's a great competitor. Yeah. So this is not a criticism of him. It's just the way things are. I would like it if he pounded the floor and walked off the court angry that they just poured their hearts out, lost a very tough game. You could explain the loss away. They were in it, tough shot, it didn't go down. But instead, there's Kyle Lowry picking him up, and they're hugging and smiling like, oh, that wasn't that fun. I get it, but I'm with you. I don't like it.
How much of that do you think just has to do? I think there's 2 parts of this. I think one is the money now. The money is so big, not only the contracts, but the endorsements, everything else. The lifestyle now is so big. So it's the money, and then they don't haze rookies anymore. Rookies used to actually be hazed, even though they didn't make a ton of money, they still made a livable wage, right, in the 80s.
That's right.
And now it's like they're treated like kings from day one. So then they have this camaraderie as kings, and I don't begrudge them any of the money they make or any of that stuff. But I think it's become like this like friendship thing that I don't think is good for the competitive nature.
It's a combination, I think of what you say. I think the money sort of bonds them all together, like we're all rich guys in this exclusive club. Then the free agency where, you're moving team to team, so many guys year after year after year signing 1-year deals with different teams. And then it goes back to high school, because when they're not staying in college long, which would at least keep them separated and build up intense rivalries where you learn to dislike your opponent in college. John Wall didn't have time to do that. He was at Kentucky for an hour and a half.
Right.
And then back to high school in AAU ball, so many of these guys have played at some point or another together.
Yeah.
You know, if they're at all the same age, there's a good chance that they hung out and played on AAU teams either or against each other, but there's no intense rivalry there. So they've been friends for a very long time. I mean, socially, it's lovely. Competitively,
great.
I think it hurts.
In the 90s seems to have almost disappeared because when Kevin Durant walks down the court now and says, I'm a bad motherfucker, it gets even put in a bad spotlight, and that's just him boasting about it. But real quick, Larry Bird. Everyone has a Larry Bird story and everything I've read because for a long time I wasn't alive when Larry Bird was playing. He always liked to pick on rookies specifically. One so much was Chuck Persons, who's fourth
So
overall pick.
that's the one I was going to bring up. That Chuck Person, they had a playoff series in probably 89, 90 against the Pacers, the Celtics and the Pacers.
It was the Christmas Day game, if this is the story you're right.
So I think this is where it started. What year was that?
So 1987 or 1988.
Okay, and I mean Chuck Person, who was a pretty good
Pretty
player.
nice player,
I don't know that
yep.
he ever made an All-Star team, but the guy could shoot.
Rookie of the year.
He was a rookie of the year.
I wouldn't be surprised if he made an All-Star game.
And you know, had in a way, you know, he was a lower grade Bird. Obviously, nothing close to Bird, but he was a clutch guy and could shoot and everything. I remember that game, and then it went on in the playoffs and it continued. I mean, they went at it, and it was a joy. It was like watching something beyond the game, and that's what's missing now.
The story that comes from that, by the way, is during the Christmas Day game, Bird went up to Persons before and said, hey, I got a Christmas gift for you. Midway through the game, he takes a three while Persons is on the bench, turns around, says Merry fucking Christmas, walks down the court, and then the three goes in.
God, it's great that the Bird stories keep getting better. You know what I mean? Like, I remember how good he was, but they're getting better.
Right, totally, yeah. And then he slept with Persons' wife. Trash talking is a fine line. Like, it's great. Like, those old stories now are great. There was a time when there was just a tremendous amount of jawing. It seems stupid. And then it gets replicated in our dumb games sometimes, that kind of thing. And I don't mean our specific games that TYT people play on Sunday, but, you know, on the pickup games. And it's just nonsense. It's just painful. Because the number of guys, when, you know, you go through a pickup game where at best, everybody's shooting 26%, right? Right? And then, you know, you put guys are saying money on jumpers, they don't go in.
Right. So that's actually kind of funny. So what was trash talking, that now has become the personal celebration. You know what I mean? LeBron walking off.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's where it's changed. They don't talk to the other guy. Now it's about their own sort of how do you spin and walk back, and they used to raise the roof.
I'm an old white Jewish man. I don't really like it. Like, the moments that there are some great moments of it, and if it happened as rarely as throwing back to Bird and Wilkins, and I did like Spike Lee and Reggie Miller, but there's too much of it, and it seems silly.
Spike Lee wasn't even a basketball player. That's the beauty of that situation. So anyway, what do you think? Do we miss the trash talking? You guys okay without it? Let us know in the comments right down below.